Hello, special being. So here in the UK, government or some clever marketing agency came up with a propaganda slogan. Stay home, save life. Interesting. So the idea basically is that if you do not stay home, you compromise life. Let's stretch it a notch further. If you don't wear a mask, if you don't take the V, you're a danger to others, right? Well, let's come back on the first assumption, shall we? The Telegraph, February, and then the Sunday Times in March, and I will leave a link down below in the description, reported an explosion of Tourette syndrome in teenagers, mainly girls, since the first confinement. So Tourette, for those who don't know, are when people display uncontrollable tics and behavior. They can absolutely hurt themselves. It greatly impairs their social life. I happen to have a teenager who started to display the same syndrome after the first lockdown back in September. So I got in touch with Professor Hartmann, who is in charge of the neurology department of the Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital in Paris. And Professor Hartmann, he's an authority when it comes to Tourette syndrome and many other neurology elements. And I will put also a link in the description below. So Professor Hartmann confirmed to me what was happening and that he and his peer were literally swamped by consultation with young people suffering from all kinds of psychological and psychologically induced physical ailments following the lockdowns. Aude in France, but here also in the UK and pretty much all over. An entire generation isolated from their friends. Now, we do know that domestic violence has increased by 40%, so has incest and violence against children. And we also know that these can have consequences that will last a lifetime and probably be transmitted to future generations. We also have cohorts of students confessing their depression and basically a whole generation whose well-being and future is compromised like never seen before. Stay home, save life, nonetheless, is the motto of the government here in the UK and globally. Government could not manage the upcoming sanitary crisis, took measure with no strategy or assessment of possible consequences, and goes on applying measures nobody knows the real impact of. When it was decided to condition people to think that staying home was safe, the government was not thinking about mental health, or might have deemed it less problematic than the epidemiology consequences. This decision is based on a certain perception and apprehension of the reality. And any perception is necessarily biased. This one is based on a long accepted scientific paradigm that V are the best treatments against the disease. And other, easier, more readily available treatments were simply brushed aside. V also happen to generate tons of money. My point here is, as any perception, decision makers have chosen to favor certain facts over others. Your freedom, special beings, resides in questioning any fact that is presented to you. In the present instance, stay home, save life has also a lingering taste of guilt that should not be necessary really to rally people's opinion. The guilt introduced the concept of good and bad behavior. So we have the goodies who are staying home, and we have the real bad one who are going out. And I'm not saying that a healthy dose of guilt might not be useful to a society, but I do think guilt is a preventive barrier that should come from individuals themselves as a result of a healthy dose of self-responsibility. And I don't think that governments or media, for that matter, are instilling self-responsibility. Well, in the present case, many facts seem to contradict this propaganda of stay home, save lives. Dear beings, you can achieve a lot and at least have a meaningful life when you are in alignment with who you are and free from other pressures and conditioning. And it's not easy to reach that point, and it takes hurdles, shadow work, and many failure to get to that kind of conclusion. Freedom is a state of being rather than a material concept. And you might think that money will give you freedom. Well, I would correct that money gives you option. But it doesn't matter how much money you have, you can still remain in a jail of your mind and being unable to apprehend the many options that the money should be giving you. Freedom is certainly not an easy state of being. It is often a path of loneliness, because those who are not free will resent you. In many people, their behavior is conditioned. It comes from an outside source that doesn't necessarily sit with themselves. And very often it is fear-induced. So this is something very uncomfortable deep down. So when these people are confronted with your very freedom, that triggers something inside them that sit even worse with them. And they will resent you because you are extending to them the mirror of their shadow they refuse to see and work on to collapse. But freedom is the very essence of being human. Can we love ourselves, be authentic, protect our children, give them a legacy to build them up if we're not free? Well, I leave you special beings to answer these questions. And I would love to have your comments about it. If you like this channel, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and click on the bell so you are notified with the next video. And in the meantime, dear beings, I bow to the courage of you being free.